Howdy folks, welcome back to an Armored Warfare replay. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today I have for you a Leopard 1 replay with the history of Leopard 1. And I am platooned up right now with Blockhow, who is also another CC. He actually joined me during one of my streams, and we had this awesome game, both of us did. And he is in the M113 ACAV. Show off the Leopard 1 here a bit. Now this is the older model Leopard 1, although it does have the upgraded turret armor, which is actually, I think that's a Leopard 1 E1 or something like that was with the turret armor. I really don't have the spec on that. And right now we are playing PvE Hardcore, and this is Operation Phalanx. So the Leopard 1 was an MBT produced by West Germany. The design process would begin as a co-op project in 1955. Both France and Germany at the time were both seeking a new MBT.
Black Company, this refinery is a valuable strategic
Also, Italy was a part of the project too because they were interested in a main battle tank, which I'll get into later. Of course, the co-op project didn't end well. Both France and West Germany would part ways. However, the end of the project would give birth to the AMX-30 in 1960 and the Leopard 1 in 1965. Now, as a point of interest, the main reason the project actually ended, the co-op, was because Germany thought France was taking a bit too long on their end of the development process. And even though the AMX-30, it's kind of an interesting thing to point that out, because the AMX-30 would be introduced in 1960 while the Leopard 1 wouldn't show up until 1965. The Leopard 1 would feature a L52 105mm rifle gun, which is derived from the British L7A1. The MTU MB838 CAM 500 10-cylinder multi-fuel engine produces 819 horsepower. It is in a power pack layout. This is the first German tank to use a power pack layout. This allows for a quicker engine change in service. In fact, it is claimed that the power packs can be swapped around in 45 minutes. The armor was kept thin. At the time, it was believed that heat ammunition makes armor thickness irrelevant. Basically, the idea was you can either make the armor extremely thick and have an immobile tank, or you can just make the tank fast and hopefully the tank won't get hit. All that being said, Porsche made an interesting design, yet successful design. A total of 4,744 Leopard 1s would be produced, with an additional 1,741 specialist variants. This doesn't include any of the prototypes over the years. The Leopard 1 will remain in service with Germany until 2003, but still have some specialist variants in service. The Leopard 1 was also widely exported. Its former users would include Australia, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, and the UK. It is still in service with Brazil, Chile, Ecuador, Greece, Lebanon, and Turkey. And it's actually got a long running service with Greece. Greece was one of the earlier purchasers of the Leopard 1 tank. So what else can I point out about the Leopard 1 tank here?
That's the last truck.
The Leopard 1 was actually Germany. To put it in perspective, Germany, when designing the Leopard 1, they were kind of looking back instead of looking forward. They were looking back at the failings of like the Tiger tank and the Leopard tank. They were looking at how modern tank combat was working. but they wanted a vehicle that was fairly simple to produce, yet still of good quality. They wanted the vehicle to be maintainable quickly. They wanted it to be fast, things of that nature. They were just more worried about what the future of tank combat could hold, which was an interesting take in itself. And this vehicle would actually come about with the rebuilding of the German armed forces. And Germany did have some tanks in service. They had some M47s, some M48s in service. They even had some M41 Walker Bulldogs. But as things would come out, they wanted their own tank. And the Leopard 1 was born. Now, looking at the Leopard 1 and looking at the Leopard 2, they are two totally different tanks. And in all realistics, they are two totally different tanks. There was a couple lessons taken from the Leopard 1 and put into the Leopard 2. But generally, the Leopard 2 is just a completely different machine. They're not related to each other, pretty much is what I'm getting at here. But as a point of interest, there was a Leopard 1 prototype that actually did have a 120 millimeter cannon, and it was actually trialed against the Leopard 2. It's just the Leopard 2 would end up winning out. So what you have here in Armored Warfare is a Tier 3 main battle tank. But in all honesty, to call it a main battle tank is kind of an understatement. You need to really think about this tank as more of a sniper, as not a frontline tank, but instead as a tank destroyer. You can't afford to take hits because the armor's not going to absorb any hits. However, as a couple points of interest, it has a really good gun system. It's very accurate. The rate of fire is decent. The damage output is decent. The penetration is very good. The tank itself is very mobile, so it's a good vehicle to use to get from point to point, maybe to move from ridge to ridge and snipe. But you really don't want to be spotted and caught out in the open in this machine unless you're prepared to sacrifice some hit points. All in all, it's not a bad machine, and it leads up to a much better machine in the line, the Leopard 2, finally the Leopard 2 A5. So we're going to finish up the replay here right now. I am in the capture point here, but I'm going to just keep on pushing through. The whole time, Block and I are communicating with each other. Now, Block played very interestingly with his M113 here. The M113 also being another lightly armored vehicle, which I accidentally smacked into him there. But the M113 actually has a better spotting range than the Leopard does. So he played a bit of a spotter while I played a bit of a sniper. So there we go. Block and I got the W. Most of our team survived. I'll point that out. However, as it comes down to, so I got 10,179 damage and destroyed 13 enemy vehicles. Spotted 3. I try to avoid doing any kind of spotting in this vehicle whatsoever. As I said, not very heavily armored. But instead, I like to use that great gun and keep that gun in action. Now, Block actually would win out on the amount of damage, and he would actually win out with the amount of spotting damage, getting himself the blue star. Kudos to Block, which actually I will point out that Block is an Armored Warfare streamer and a community contributor. Once again, I'll point that out. I will put a link to his Twitch channel in the video description here. And then myself, I would end up in second place with the way I played. And that's really the way a Leopard 1 should be played. And the rest of our team, they were there. That's all I'm going to put with that. Anyway, folks, I really hope you enjoyed this replay and hearing about the Leopard 1. And hope to see you on the next video.